you wanted something more from life, you had to go outside to get it.
If you can't get money here in Harlem, you can't get no money nowhere.
You heard of 3 the hard way? Well, this was the real 3 the hard way. Alpo, AZ, and Rich Porter.
They was the mayor of Harlem, all 3 of them together.
The small fry motherfuckers that was running errands, man, for the niggas back in the 70s, was bosses, man.
It's like everybody here is Michael Jordan in comparison if he was in the NBA. Everybody's a superstar.
But Harlem niggas was the most super flamboyant fly niggas on earth, man.
Even the big dudes that was in Queens, the big dudes that was in the Bronx, the big dudes that was in Brooklyn, they was all coming to Harlem.
It was coke, it was dope, it was crack.
Everything was selling.
I don't think nobody in the city was moving coke and crack like what's going on in Harlem.
We was the youngest niggas probably in history to ever do it the way we did it.
Al wasn't the richest nigga in Harlem, but he was one of the most popular because of the shit that he was doing.
Well, people knew him as Alpo. I knew him as Negro.
He was just like every other kid in the hood, man. We was all trying to find something to take our mind off the fact that we was fucked up.
Because everybody thought he was black, but he was just a dark-skinned Puerto Rican.
That nigga speaks Spanish very well.
The 70s and 80s was rough.
The state of black America is still very grim.
Mom's on welfare, you know, dad not at home.
He was a good kid, without a doubt, man. He was a damn good kid. He was very humble about a lot of things.
As far as I know, it was always his mom who did everything.
Mostly you seen Poe and you seen his younger sister.
If he had a problem with somebody or something like that and his moms come down, his moms are be like, yo, that's my son, don't touch him. She be on the front line.
Poe just, for some reason, always stood out.
His mother always had him into, she was always taking him to camps.
He was going away to Fresh Air Fund. We all did that.
He stayed the summer with a white family, I think. There was another little boy that the family had that was their son, and Al was like their son. He spent every summer with the same family. They always wanted him back.
He was just part of the family. We just accepted him to come. We just liked to have him every year.
He really was a good kid. Nobody, I can't imagine anybody not liking Albert, and that proved to be the case once he got here. When your first time you met him, you just liked him.
He adapted to that, which was good, because he was able to see how different people grow up.
Going to the boys club, wanted to be a Marine, wanted to be a cadet.
And they loved him over there. I mean, you can go to 3rd Avenue on 111th Street, and his pictures were everywhere.
If you didn't have a strong structure, it's like you could easily lose it because you'll be outside, learn how to try to make a buck.
We have a community filled with drugs, and on the streets we have young people who seem hopeless and are hopeless.
They have no guidance by looking at the motherfucker that was working. The nigga that was working was struggling.
It was 3 of us. Me, Poe, my man, one of y'all. You know what I mean? And us 3 like that, we was about money, man.
Like any other kid, he didn't want to be depending on his mother all the time.
Anybody that know East River Project is right on the drive. So we would take a garbage can and throw it on the FDR drive.
And now to slow the traffic down, then we'll go to the back.
When it congests, niggas just walking alongside the barrier till you see that white chick with that purse open, with that yak or that nice diamond chain or whatever, and we just yap it.
Jump back over the wall and run through the projects.
But I guess that didn't work out for him.
He got a phone call from his mother, I think, asking if he could come up here.
When he came up the last time and we asked him what trouble he was in, eventually when he told us, he said he was a runner. And I think he said that was carrying drugs or something from one place to another.
I really remember when he was real young, and a certain OG around the way had him on the corner.
Yeah, our producer worked for me back in the days and shit,
And he was out there hustling, and I was like, yo, what that nigga doing out? Why he always out there? He said, man, that nigga, he's selling that shit.
Poe be the first one out, be cold as hell. So Poe was really trying to get that money. I seen he really want that money. You gotta be out there 6 in the morning to fuck with that heroin and shit. So our police come get a nigga at 5:30. We still be sleep. Poe come out, be early in the morning, and he have a knot too already, because he done caught them fiends, you know what I mean?
That nigga started popping, he was about 13. He was like one of the youngest cats out. He started real young.
It was that very last time that he came, And he must have been only like 15 and a half, and he had the big chains on, the big gold chains.
The kids around here noticed these things immediately and started asking questions.
At this time and age, that might be normal, but I'm talking about back in 78. You understand? A 13, 14-year-old kid, 79, that wasn't normal.
He was very street smart, and he would observe everything.
Nigga had the eye of the tiger and he was hungry, man.
Poe wasn't drinking, Poe wasn't smoking no weed, Poe didn't do nothing. Poe was strictly about getting paper and putting that shit away.
It's some shit like LeBron James got it, Michael Jordan had it, Poe had it.
When my nigga Al met my man Shorty Love, and my man Love showed this nigga the way what this is,
his game wasn't aggressive at all.
When he got with Randy, the beast came out with him.
When Alpo met Randy, somehow Randy installed an aggressiveness in him, and he just went ahead and did his damn thing.
And he learned, like, listen, if you want to get in the game, you gotta be 110% sure, because the nigga will take you out, and never underestimate the man that don't get nothing.
My niggas and them was going on the grind and stick the motherfucking Dominicans up, and they had to send a nigga in there, like my nigga Poe he knew Spanish. They didn't know he knew Spanish. So when they was talking that he was on the side letting niggas know what to do.
As soon as Poe get in the house, nigga tell you, he'll tell you, man, this is on the 2nd floor. Bam, just come up here and kick the door down.
Watch out for this nigga. The gun is over there, the coke is over here, the keys over there.
See, he play like he buying it. Yo, listen, hold up, I gotta go to the car and get some more money. That's when niggas come in and stick everything up.
The adrenaline that Poe got, that shit felt so good to anybody practically, but the adrenaline felt so good, man, it gave him a rush. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Let's go up here and put pressure on these motherfucking niggas across town, and we get a bunch of keys and we just lock the whole area up. Yo, they had the whole east side on lockdown, man, for real. They had the whole east side on lockdown.
He was only 15 years old when he blew up, and it was like overnight.
He was like a Josie Ware on the Outlaws. He had a posse. When them niggas rolled, they was no joke. Them niggas, if they went into your house and it was drama, them niggas even turned the fish tank over. They didn't leave no witnesses in that game.
After he learned what that heart felt like and how ruthless he had to be to maintain his game and get them papers, he got that.
It was a time when he would joke around, but when he was serious,
that Puerto Rican would come out of him in a minute.
The game was rough, so he just, he put his grind on.
He had stick-up kids in check. He was checking stick-up niggas. He was telling niggas, listen, that's my spot, don't fuck with that. And they wasn't fucking with it.
And it was funny to watch this young teenage kid work 45, 30-year-old men, and how he would work them and tell them to go to the store and get him a sandwich. Go over there, do this for me, and how they would listen and respect him.
New secret offensive is underway tonight in the war on illegal drugs. It is aimed at stopping the supply of cocaine.
Timing was everything, because all the older hustlers had faded out, and the game was wide open.
This is the kind of lucrative profit that's in this whole business. Which one of you is asking where we're going to get the money? This is going to help the deficit being reduced, huh? There it is.
This whole area right here was nothing but the tires. They had the drug shit locked down. But them niggas, so many of them niggas was getting knocked off, and niggas was going to jail, and niggas was snitching on them.
So that allowed the Colombians to come in and fill the void.
Yo, they started giving it to a nigga cheaper than what the Thai niggas was giving it to a nigga for.
Their production is equal to nearly 3 times the amount of cocaine that was brought into the United States last year.
These countries who say they're our friends and they're our allies, they're destroying us. They're going to turn us into a banana republic.
We're not fighting a war, but we darn sure are losing the battle.
America's already starting to take that message to heart. Tons of cocaine have been destroyed.
The United States has sent 6 Black Hawk assault helicopters and 160 U.S. Army pilots and maintenance personnel to Bolivia.
The Dominicans had it, they needed somebody to move it. You know what I'm saying? The blacks was the ones that could move it.
A revolutionized the shit.
When you heard Poe, you heard Rich. When you heard Rich, you heard A. Before you heard of Alpo, you heard AZ.
I was getting joints for a dirt price, man. I don't think nobody on the street can compete with the prices I was getting with.
He came out with a gimmick. Like everybody else was selling little small bottles. He came out with the GP35s and was selling them shits for like dimes, and he killed them. This big for $10. You know, when niggas was selling shit this big for $50, this is how A blew.
These niggas was getting real money.